Hi, my name is Sophia Rowland. As a current student and teacher in the making, I use various kinds of technology all the time, and know that I will continue to need to use various technologies in my future career. If you're anything like me, you highly appreciate the wonderful things technology can do and help us do every day. So what could be possibly wrong with all our great inventions? It all boils down to us. The way we use technology can harm us or others just as much, or maybe even more, as they can help us, and it is important for us to be aware of the many social and legal issues and concerns related to the use of technology. Some of the biggest social concerns of using technology are cyberbullying and stalking, appropriate web interaction, and aggravation of the digital divide. Cyberbullying, according to the 5th edition of Teaching and Learning with Technology by Judy Lever Duffy and Jean MacDonald, is when cell phones, internet, or other devices are used to send or post text or images intended to hurt or embarrass another person. Stalking is the intrusion of one's privacy, harassment, and/or following of an individual via the internet. Cyberbullying and cyberstalking obviously cause many social problems, but it is all made possible with our wonderful technological inventions. Bullying is a problem in many schools, but with the inclusion of technology, this problem has so much more potential and ability. What was once confined to the schoolyard is now in cyberspace. To give a picture of just how prevalent this problem is, we'll take a look at some statistics. The National Crime Prevention Council found indications that about 43% of teenagers in the previous year were victims of cyberbullying. Use of social media, texting, and sharing images via the many handy devices we have can greatly harm people if not used carefully and appropriately. Even though technology can help facilitate some of these issues, it doesn't mean we should stop using our phones and social networks. Instead, teachers need to take the opportunities they find and teach students about the dangers of inappropriate interactions, both on the web and with devices, and teach them about the appropriate behaviors expected of the students. This is important for students to know and practice so that they can be protected now and in their futures, and to nip certain inappropriate behaviors in the bud. Not only do students need to be aware of the dangers and practice good digital citizenry, but teachers are supposed to be students' role models in these areas and provide examples of how to act and behave while using technology. Implementing technology in schools can also widen certain gaps. While this is less of a problem than it once was, we still have a digital divide, meaning that there are certain factors that exclude certain people from participating in certain areas, such as the use of technology. The more we emphasize use of technology in school, the more some students may be excluded. Certain factors, such as funds and access to technology, may hinder students and cause greater gaps between those who do not have and those who do have. While some students in schools have devices and use them regularly, others don't. If schools can provide the needed technology, then students will have more contact and will be able to do better. By no means is a digital divide supposed to scare teachers from incorporating technology, but it should encourage teachers and schools to incorporate and implement technology into the class and lessons faster and better, with due consideration for those who may be possibly excluded. We need to make sure that all students have access to the technology they need and the skills that go with them. We need to go beyond what is mandatory and do what is needed for the students. Some of the biggest legal issues of using technology are related to copyright and acceptable use of technology. Technology can make it easier to use copyrighted materials. However, we need to be careful that we are using them appropriately. Appropriate use of copyrighted materials can be confusing and complex, and it is even more so with the increasing technological abilities, but it is important for teachers and students to know and use appropriately. Copyrights are made to protect the proprietorship of the intellectual property. These copyrights must be observed by teachers and students. However, under certain circumstances, some materials may be used without the express permission of the copyright holder. These circumstances are made clear in the Fair Use section of the copyright laws, and they make it possible for material to be used if they are for non-commercial educational purposes, will not affect the copyright holder's potential for getting profits, and several other specific specifications. With our devices, it is easy to copy and paste or incorporate special medias into our work without getting the permission of those who created the original pieces. Some may do this on purpose and some may do this on accident, but it is easier with our technology to improperly use copyrighted materials. Therefore, it is very important for teachers and students to be aware of the legal consequences that misusing copyrighted materials may bring. Besides properly using copyrighted materials, acceptably using technology is another concern of incorporating technology in schools. Most schools have acceptable use policies that explain what students and teachers may or may not do when using the school's equipment. These help to protect the students from potentially hazardous circumstances and inappropriate material. Children need to be protected from the harmful information found on the internet or other things that are accessed with the devices. The Children's Internet Protection Act is a national legislation that helps schools know what they need to do to protect students. One of the first steps in protecting students is teaching students about the appropriate use of technology. Teachers should teach and enforce the school's acceptable use policy and help students to be aware of and obey these policies for their and others' benefit. Filtering software can also be used to keep students safe by blocking certain inappropriate content and websites. However, teachers should not rely on this too heavily because it doesn't always catch all the inappropriate content. Keeping students safe and teaching them the necessary skills, acceptable behaviors, and proper use of technology is very important for the benefit of all. While there are so many issues, teachers should not lose heart or try to get rid of technology. In fact, these issues provide opportunities for us to teach our students important technology skills that include how to appropriately use the technology we have. After all, technology is only a tool, and it is the person who's using the technology that makes it do what it does. With great technology comes great responsibility.